Hello guys, what's up? It's a girl Faith Brandy, and here is Sour Media, guys. As you all know, kindly make sure you subscribe to YouTube channel so that you get notified any moment we are uploading anything. So guys, as you can see, beside me I'm seated to the next Diamond Platinum's King. Mayuguno reminds us, of where?
That's Mayuguno.
Mabera.
Nyabuansi. Yes.
My brother.
Yes.
You're building a mansion.
Yeah, that's me.
Congratulations,
Thank
man.
you.
You're bringing Diamond Platinum's,
The idea is we are able to do it, you know, but most of the time we as people from the continent of Africa, we don't believe in ourselves. So, and if somebody does something like that, people attach it to other things like Freemason, Illuminati, or sacrifice, you know, those crazy type of things. Especially if somebody by bad chance passes in your home, they say, "Oh, you can see." But I'm just here to show God's grace is sufficient.
Nice.
Yes. Yes.
It has been really a challenge to others seeing you really moving up like that, because they were like, "What? Marwa is doing this big house." And everyone is wondering, how did you really come up with the idea of building such a big home?
Actually, no, the videos lie. If you go close to the house, you'll see how big it is. When we film in the videos, actually it looks small. If you are there, you can always feel like, wow.
What?
Like the presence of you just stepping there, you'll feel like, wow, this is something else.
Wow.
When I was buying my generator of the house, I asked them to give me a generator that can run a mall.
That can run a mall, and that is something big.
And because my electrician told me, if I don't say that, then the generator I'll buy will not work. But that's when I realized it's a big deal. But the funny thing, and even my architecture may watch this video and tell you, I don't know how big the house is in terms of square feet. I didn't plan to have such a big house in my life. I just told my architect I want a big house.
And he made it for you.
I'm telling you, like I was not expecting. Even the day we dug, like the foundation, it looked still small. It looked just a normal house.
Wow.
Until I started putting the floors. So you can stand at one point, you see to the other point, you realize, wow. Then now when I was buying like metals, then my engineers would say, buy this. I'm like, all that? They say yes. Yeah. So.
Wow. And again, there was a time that people are really shocked. Is this Maro? Is he the one who is paying us? In the video, I saw there was this guy was bringing some, he was supplying you some, I don't know, paints, something like that.
Paint,
Yeah, and then they were like, oh my God, this is Marwa.
I can't remember the same scenario, but I shock a lot of people because even in my village, if you don't know me, you can't know who the boss is, because I am just like any other person. So sometimes even, let's say people come to visit the house and they're asking who is building this, they ask me. Or sometimes, it has happened many times, especially like young boys coming to look for like kazi ya mjengo, which is like manual work. They'll come and find me sitting somewhere and they'll be like, hey bro, how can we also get a job here? It has happened many times.
Wow.
And I tell them, sometimes I tell them, like the last guy, I remember I told him, if you come early here, you can't miss a job. But if you come late, you'll miss a job.
So meaning a lot of people are coming to look for the job.
No, they come a lot. At least 50 a day.
50 a day?
I never film because maybe, and it's a mix of everything, because people come from kids to old people. And being a guy from a society which really is not rich, and you know, in the villages, some kids want to get money to buy shoes. So I give them light jobs, like maybe cleaning the house, collecting the woods and putting them together, like timbers. Hizo mbao ziko hapa na pale. Because if you refuse, then they feel bad, and everybody wants something.
Everybody wants something.
So I try to balance.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is Africa, man. Everybody wants something automatically. You've been really traveling a lot, man. You've been to a lot of countries.
That's true.
Maybe you can list, not like listing. Maybe you can tell us how many countries have you visited so far?
Non-repetitively, without repeating, it could be around 67 or 70, around there.
Non-repeatedly?
Yes. If we repeat 100. let's say if the number of times I've been to the US, if I put it like that's 1, 2, 3, it could be even 120.
Your passport.
I actually have
Your
it here.
passport. So your passport really gets full up because of the stamps and everything.
Yes, and especially we Kenyans need visas. So every time I go to a new country, they put a visa on a whole page.
Yeah, that's how they do it.
But sometimes that helps because I'm from Africa. When I'm looking for visas of other countries, they check my passport. They see, oh, this guy was in Europe. This guy was here. Oh, give him. So it's kind of like the more I get, the more visas, the more I put like value on my passport. Because other visas even are stronger than our passports, like the European visa, for example, or the American. Yes.
I can see you and your sister really traveling so much.
Yeah.
So if we leave aside the part of being a traveler, maybe you can now tell us, as Marwa, how did you start doing YouTube, or when did you start? Because a lot of people have always wanted to ask you this, and they told me if I meet you, I ask you this question. You are so learned.
Yeah, I actually went to school. Sometimes people think having like hair like mine, it means you're a beach boy, you just wanna chill. Even sometimes here in Mombasa, when I'm with my girlfriend now, and when we are walking, most young men talk to me like, "Hey bro, meangukia." Yeah, and sometimes they would say they want high price. So, and sometimes I'm the one paying. So they would say, "Hey, let's do it 500, bro, so I can get something." I tell them, "No, I'm the one paying." They don't believe that. They look at me and say, "Oh, you don't want us to eat," you know. Hey, and I tell them, "Look, no, it's not like that. It's not like that." Yes. So that's a challenge. But anyway, you're telling me the last question was how I started my YouTube channel. I went to Colombia as a joke. I'm a guy who always wanted to travel, and now this is really deep. It's more like spiritual. I've always manifested since I was a baby to travel. So when we were in university, I used to tell my boys I want to really travel, and I was studying actuarial science in JQuat.
Actuarial science, my friends. If you don't have actuarial science, hey, you must have really been learned here in Kenya when you're completing your Form 4.
And I actually graduated, not just did. I finished, graduated, had my degree.
You have pictures?
Yeah, I have pictures.
Hey, you'll share them with me.
Okay, I have, but I'm with many boys together.
Okay.
I like groups. So he told, I used to tell my boys, actually in that picture you'll see those boys. Like, hey, I really want to travel the world. And we would sometimes argue, when you are young and in university, some guys saying, no, me, I want to go to these countries as a baller with my bodyguards, like 5-star hotel. Me, I was like, if I go to wash toilets, I don't mind. As long as I go, I just want to go and go. And even I don't want to go to America because it's too difficult for me to go, or Europe. I go India, I was telling them any small country, but just to go. Funny enough, one of the guys in the group, we were like 12, got a job in Colombia. He told the group, true story, they are watching this, they'll testify. Even one of my best friends is from Mombasa, number one actually. His name is Mteti. Maybe I should connect with him. You ask him about him. He knows. He's my best friend. Okay. So one of the guys in the group got a job to go and teach English in Colombia as a volunteer. Exchange program. Just volunteer. Sometimes whites come to Africa to volunteer in schools and maybe dig some borehole. For us, we went to teach English because those countries don't speak English in Latin America. So just as a joke, this guy who got the job in Colombia told the group, and the group said, tell Maro, he's always the guy who has always want to go. That's how I left Kenya.
For the first time?
For the first time. So I sold my coach, I was selling stuff to the boys. And the others even promised they're going to pay me. Like, Maro, don't sell this one. Once I get paid end month, I'll buy, and they never even paid me up to today. So I left for Colombia, and when I was in Colombia, I was very, very lonely. So people there spoke Spanish. I didn't speak by then Spanish, now I speak. So I was alone. in a foreign land, far away from home, no friends. I used to work, and now the thing was, my loneliness pushed me to liking the internet. That was 2016. I was watching Diamond Platinum, the musician. I liked him so much because I would easily relate. Not the guy I am today. Those days, I would say, I like this guy. This guy came from nothing, and now look where he is. Yeah, I want to be like him. The same thing now that people watch me and say, oh, this guy came from nothing. Me, I was inspired by Diamond, and I took him because I would relate. He's black like me. He's came from nothing. And I kept telling myself every day, I want to be like this guy. But I couldn't be Diamond because he's a musician. I didn't sing. I didn't have a studio. I don't have dancers to do the music video. So then there's another guy called Casey Neistat. So remember, this was through my loneliness. I was alone. Remember before, I used to stay in a group.
Now
12 people. Now I'm alone in a foreign country. I don't speak the language.
Language barrier.
You don't know even how to say, give me a matchbox. You can see a matchbox is right there.
But you can't speak.
You can't speak. Like matchbox in Spanish is phosphorus. So imagine you in a foreign country, day 1, day 2. So to cut the long story short, I watched another YouTuber, travel YouTuber. His name was Casey Neistat. He's from New York. So when I watched this guy, I was like, I really like this guy because he's alone and he's able to make videos. Guys, sorry, there are people talking in the background. Don't worry.
That's true. Yeah, we're sorry about that.
So I said, I can be like this guy. I can be like this guy because this guy, he's alone and he makes videos. And one day, he made a video saying it's still on YouTube. The best camera to do vlogs. You know, vlogging, like YouTuber thing. And he said Canon 70D.
Canon 70D.
I started saving the same night to buy Canon 70D.
What?
6 months down the line, I had my camera.
What?
Because it was $1,300 US dollars. And then they were paying me $500. And you know, in a foreign country, you buy everything, you pay for everything, you pay rent, you pay Wi-Fi, you pay water, especially everything, transport. And again, you know, you're from Africa, your mom wants you to send something.
Some money.
Especially,
your siblings are there.
they are there.
You know, my brother is out of the country.
Exactly, the pressure is just right there.
Hi.
I remember even one time I sent my mom $500. I told her, Mom, please, this is the last one I'm sending you. I'm working on a project. If it succeeds, I'll be sending you more money. My mom went silent since that day until I bought my camera. Then I bought my camera. I kept watching Casey and say, I want to be like this guy. So I bought my first camera. It's still in our home in the village here. That camera is more expensive than my house. Because without that camera, I would not be this guy. So it's an emotional attachment to it.
True, yeah.
Even once the house is complete, I will put it as a display. I hope somebody does not steal it, but I'll put it as a display. And it's still functioning.
Wow, that's nice.
So I bought this camera after 6 months. Then I started filming videos. I was if you watch my first, they're still there. I didn't know even how to say hello.
I saw them.
Yeah.
And I was like,
this is the same
really
guy.
Come from this far, then who
Yeah.
are we?
Yeah,
Who
you
are we?
And remember those days, I spoke English, but Americans will not understand me. They want to watch my videos, but they will be like, his accent, who is this guy from? I would confuse everybody. But I kept doing it over and over and over and over. Until one day, those days when you started making videos on YouTube, you started paying. Day 1, like this, you start seeing money coming in.
What?
Yes. Day 1, there's no this 1,000. This came after. You know, YouTube has really changed.
Oh, wow.
And long time ago, any video paid you.
Wow.
Nowadays, there are some videos age restricted.
Yeah, age restricted.
And all this.
Like,
not good for advertisers. So, but
so sad.
Things have changed. Those days, any video paid you. Even just laughing, you get paid.
So maybe you can tell us, that is really an inspiring story. You can tell us, what was your first paycheck?
It's on YouTube actually. It's like $1,000. That's after I think 10 months or 1 year. Around there after. So I started YouTube today. I saw it growing every day, every day. So today, $5, $200, 300, until it reached 1,000. I think 1,300, around the same price I bought my camera. And the funny thing, once I got this money, I wanted to buy a laptop, a good laptop. I gave it to a guy to go to the US, and he disappeared with that money. So my first paycheck got stolen.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but that was a blessing. After that, I did a video about it. People showed up from nowhere.
Wow, and they bought
That's the first time I saw people send money to me. Actually, the same night, there's a guy called Brand Bitcoin. I've never forgotten about him. Same night, he sent me $300. And in like a week, I had another laptop.
Wow.
Yes. And the guy who stole my laptop disappeared forever.
Like you've never even get in contact
No,
with him?
I took him to the police because he stole my laptop, but the money, but he was still around there. I would see him then.
Yeah, then I wish you would have disappeared.
Yeah,
The
but
money would have been
imagine somebody steals money from you and
You're seeing
it pains you a lot.
It pains.
And because he was bigger than me, he'll say you can't do me anything.
So-
But it's
But every inconvenience is a blessing. You see,
now
at
like
least
me.
you got.
Since that day, every day I receive donations. Since that day, that's the first time I received donation in my life, and it didn't pull me down. I kept putting videos, but that was my first paycheck. So it got stolen. Then after some time, I'm cutting this story short. Before YouTube was paying me constantly, it wasn't paying me. It was paying me like maybe $100 or 60. I was not even serious with YouTube. Me, I was just happy that people comment on my videos and I post. Actually, that's before I got paid. Actually, one time after getting paid. No. Let me remember. Yeah, after getting paid, you remember it had taken me a whole year to create or to put together $1,300. So the following month, I went back to making like $50 or $60 a month, and I lost my job. That was another year, the following year. So I lost my job, and this is a very funny story. I was staying in a 5-star hotel. I'll tell this story one day when I'm ready. I was staying in a 5-star hotel, and the following day I was homeless. 5-star hotel where
Which country?
in Colombia. So I had gotten just a job, so they were doing orientation to us. They had booked everything for us, and then I lost the job in the middle of the orientation. And when you lose the job, you lose your visa.
They take everything.
Everything goes. And
So you had to come back to Kenya.
I was supposed, but I didn't, because even I didn't have money to. I was
Why are you in Kenya?
I was left with only like $20 forth and back, because the year before I had bought my camera around November, and I had flown out of Colombia to another country called Panama, and I didn't have a job there. So all the remaining that was there was just like $20. So I stayed in the streets for like 3 to 4 nights.
You slept on the streets.
I'm telling you true story. I have lots of people who can confirm this story is true, because these people, I asked them to host me, they refused.
They refused.
Yes. So sometimes I go back to Colombia and I meet them. They were Kenyans. Even the guy who helped me to go. But I say I don't have any problem with them. You know, everything happens for a good reason. Maybe really I needed to sleep in the streets for me to appreciate everything that comes in my life. So I stayed in the streets. Then, to cut the long story short, I found myself again back to my knees. One guy sent me money from the US, who was among the 12 guys in the group, because this guy understood me. He knew who I was. So when I told him his name is Jude, I told him, Jude, look bro, look, this is my life, it's like this. He sent me I think $800. He told me, Maro, you fix your stuff, take your time, when you feel you are ready, pay me back the money. I respect that guy up to today. Right now he's a US military. Yes, he went to the Actually, when he sent me the money, he was already in the US. But I left first Africa before him. So I fixed my life back, and since that day when I found my house again, I said from today I don't believe in working for anybody.
That's true.
You can be staying in a 5-star hotel, or you can have any type of job, glamorous, and the following day you can wake up, it's gone.
Jobless.
And then since that day, it made me really humble. to know everything is a blessing in life. Nothing is guaranteed. You are not special. You're sleeping in a nice bed and complaining. There are people in the streets, nothing. Like me, I was in the streets, far away from my home. All the guys I thought would be my friends didn't even help me anything. And it's a true story,
It's so sad, Maro.
But for me, I see it as a good thing because maybe that's what made me. So from there, I promised myself, I will save money. I will not play with my money.
Depend on anybody.
I will not depend on governments or organizations. I want to do, and I said, you know what can do that actually? I just made money on YouTube. The following month, I was making like $30, $40. The following month, I posted videos
Every day.
back and forth. I made $900 the following month. You see, the other one took me 1 year to make like similar amount.
Yeah.
After being homeless, I made $900. The following month, $1,000. The following month, like that. And I got a new job, because with the $800, I fixed my life. I went to look for a new visa. Even I have the visa which was cancelled here. I have it in my bag here. So my life was back. And the funny thing, from being homeless to making $3,000 a month in Colombia. I got 2 jobs, and the funny thing, these jobs, so my main job that gave me a visa was from 1 p.m. till 9
Oh, you're working in hours.
hours. Most abroad people work in hours. So in the morning, I was a free guy.
Yeah, you do something else.
So I would go film my videos
Wow.
in universities. Actually, if you see my first early videos, it's about street interviews, asking people crazy, wild questions, all of them. And now, then I got another job, part-time, again in the morning, 2 times a week, and they were paying me $800. It was just a miracle from God.
That is good.
Yes, so I started making $3,000 a month. From making $500 before.
To 3,000.
From making $500, I became homeless. Then I made $3,000 in every month after being homeless. Then I kept saving my money now. I knew any day this can go, I can lose. I was smart. But I still stayed in my old house. It's in my YouTube videos. If you find where Amaro used to stay in Colombia and blah blah blah, you'll find it.
Please go check that out.
So I stayed, I kept there, and I was sending money home a little bit, telling my mom wait. But I started sending money a little bit home to start building my mom's house. And then the following year, the government of Colombia rejected my visa. So I applied the same job, same visa, same everything, same organization, same position. They said no.
So you had to come back home.
You have to leave. When a government says no to you, they give you 15 days, 2 weeks to leave. A grace period.
Yeah.
So I packed my bags. I said, oh, now I have money in my bank account. My YouTube was making at least $1,000.
Saving, it would have been a different story.
Crazy. So me being homeless was a situation of it was my destiny.
Just a circumstance.
So and this story, you learn something from it.
Yeah.
So I packed my bags. The only country I could go was Panama, because Kenyans, we don't need a visa to go to Panama.
Yeah.
Any other countries in the Americas, we need visa. So I said, before I go to Panama, let me try Mexico. On paper, I wrote 1 month. They gave me 6 months multiple entries. I went to Mexico.
You went to Mexico.
So I started backpacking. That's how I started traveling now the world. Since that day, up to today, I've been moving like crazy. Because now I learned how to survive with no job, with no government, with nothing, only on my YouTube. I became smarter in saving. I was sleeping in hostels. Up to now, I'm sleeping in a hostel. That's the reason is I still don't change, because like I made it, or I made some money. Now it's changing my lifestyle. But the beauty of having money right now is I can go to any restaurant, any hotel, and sleep and pay.
Yeah, that's true.
And when I'm in a restaurant, I don't start by looking at the prices. I start by which is your best seller. You see, that's now what has changed. And for me, that's the beauty of money. Not like, now I'm the rich guy, you can't tell me nothing, or blah, blah, blah. Because I was in the street one day, and not long ago, not more than 4 years ago, my life just changed like 3-4 years.